Welcome and peace. Thank you for watching. My name is Andrew, and within this video we will show you the way to peacefully force positive change within any organization or society. This is video 3 of 3 and covers Phase 2 Action and Phase 3 Codify. Now, the reason why you're going to benefit from watching this video is that you will know the last two steps on how you can unite with others to create meaningful, positive change within people's lives and our society in order to create a world of lasting peace and happiness that everybody can enjoy. For those following along within the way, this is part of Step 6, Unite. Again, the strategy is first to understand why violence will never lead to lasting peace, and then the 3 phases of clarify, action, and codify. Okay, before we get started, a warning. As I stated in the other videos, to attain our goal, we need to be sure to follow all the phases and the nonviolent tactics as outlined within these videos correctly, and to be as open and inclusive as possible. Care is needed when applying this strategy because the use of this method is truly powerful, yet if it's not handled correctly, it can cause division, mass destruction, and chaos. Okay, now let's get into Phase 2, Action. Now, what you do next in this process is dependent upon how the other party reacts to the demands that you delivered to them in the last step. Are they willing to negotiate with you? Yes or no? A willingness to negotiate in good faith means that all parties are open and willing to discuss the demands, understand them, and then work towards a solution based on consensus, or if that's not even possible, at the very least, a fair compromise. Each party must go into these meetings looking to work for real, positive, meaning, and doable solutions. Remember, people can only find real solutions if everybody is sharing the same fact base, is looking for the root causes and the virtues at the heart of these issues. You also must be willing to be reasonable, work hard, and even change. If you negotiate and reach an actual agreement at this point, you can skip down to Phase 3, Codify, where you ensure everything is legal. Okay, after that, the movement can disband, or the leaders can direct the members into a similar or new cause. However, if the negotiation yields a multi-step solution or one that is to be implemented over an extended period, the cause doesn't end. It just goes into a type of hibernation. Now here, all parties agree to set up an extended watch and verification system in which the leaders of the cause are in control. This verification system serves as checks and balances, which allows the leaders of the cause to inform the tribe of the progress and problems that they might be having. Okay, now instead, if they say no or are not willing to negotiate with you, it's time to peacefully force positive change. To be clear, here you have submitted your demands respectfully, and the other party is not willing to negotiate, or is not being reasonable, or is not negotiating in good faith. Now, the easiest way to force negotiation within any organization is to have those on the outside, consumers and citizens, and those on the inside, workers and, let's say, elected officials, working together. If that's not possible, the goal can still be achieved by one side or the other separately. Now, in either case, the more people that participate, the easier and faster change will happen. Okay, let's talk about our power as citizens and consumers a little bit. To be clear, citizens are legally recognized citizens of a state or commonwealth and are subjects of its jurisdiction. Consumers are all people who use that organization, service, or product, or even may use it. Now, as citizens and consumers, we have great power. As citizens, through our actions with our government, as consumers, with the power we yield by consuming or by stopping the consumption of certain products and services. If we don't buy, they don't make money. Over time, without enough money, most businesses and other organizations will just cease to exist. Our cause becomes even more influential when we encourage others to do the same because of word of mouth. This is often the most powerful tool that we can wield as consumers. Now, our growth and the influence that we have is magnified greatly when influencers, those at the centers of power, and those using the tools of power all join our cause. This is because our true power is shown when people's positive or negative opinions are spread around, word of mouth, and are shared by the masses. This power of unity is what creates a fad that brings companies to the top and also destroys brands. If there are enough of us in the beginning, we only need to use the power of non-use for short periods to show how many people there are that are joining us. The goal here is not to hurt the company. The first time is more about a warning shot over the bow. We're providing this warning because we don't want to cause them harm. We want them to change. Again, the goal is to get them to negotiate, right? There might be that they just don't understand something, and this will get them to the table. In some cases, a boycott might create a personal inconvenience. For example, let's say we're trying to pressure change on a cell phone company, right? In these cases, in the beginning, it's key to find ways to show dissatisfaction without creating too much hardship in everybody's life. If you can find ways that are relatively convenient for people, especially in the beginning, the more success that you're going to have. Here we work for alternatives like having everybody sign a petition, text, or call a specific number at that company with a complaint, indicating that we're going to cut off our use of their service or product if that company doesn't negotiate or come up with some type of solution. The key is to show our displeasure in high numbers relative to the situation to get them to take you seriously and negotiate, right? If they do not, as consumers, our ultimate power comes from abandoning that company altogether. The abandonment of dinosaurs unwilling to change allows us to support organizations that are willing to negotiate and work to do things correctly. This is actually very key to the whole principle of capitalism. Okay, now let's go through our power as workers a little bit. Now, workers are those who have jobs and do the actual work within the organization at issue. Note that government and critical system worker strategies are covered separately below. Now, frequently, the workers within an organization will agree with the consumer complaints and will have complaints of their own. Now, worker complaints often cover issues that consumers can't even see and are tied to things like poor working conditions, environmental destruction, corruption, wrongfulness, illegal acts, and whatnot. As workers, we have great power in creating positive change as we know things that other people just can't see. So one way workers can help is to join a reasonable and fair workers' union that covers all the people in the industry. Unionizing is an excellent way to find and coordinate with a group of people that are all like-minded and vested in this situation. If there is no union, now you can start one of your own or ask another similar union to help you get started. The key is to make sure your union is after mutually beneficial solutions, not out to just take as much as possible without regard for the overall goal or the company or organization that you're dealing with. Workers can also coordinate with other workers and, let's say, do a bad job. They can work slowly. They can cause bottlenecks, delays, or even make mistakes. The key here is not to do such a lousy job that you're going to get fired. And if asked why you're not doing your usually great work, you can say that you feel bad and you're distracted because of the cause that's out there and everybody's fighting about. If it's taking a long time, you might even look at getting another job at a better company, thereby depriving this company of your talent. Now, if they start losing enough good people, this will also help create even more pressure. If workers are backed up by consumers, the idea is for the workers to do enough to keep their jobs, as they need to be able to support themselves and support the cause whenever possible. Think about it like this. If all the workers show up for work and then there are no customers, this is going to increase pressure on the organization to negotiate, as they still need to pay the workers, or they're going to have to start downsizing, right? Now, it's essential that those protesting don't show these workers any disrespect or impede them from going to work, right? Ideally, we want everybody collecting their paychecks and caring for their lives throughout this process. Okay, now let's talk about this special case of government and basic societal system workers. Okay, first know that if you want to change a government system, our ability to change that system is going to be dependent on the form of government that you're under. If you have a government of the people, then change will be easier. If you have one of tyranny or top-down control, positive change will be more difficult and may even involve personal risk. In this case, if you're under this type of form of government, it may even need to change before real positive reforms can be implemented, especially over the long haul. Now, if we work for a government of the people or a critical societal system like, let's say, water, food, energy, and all the rest, it's important when we seek positive change to still go to work and do an excellent job. Okay, we don't want to cause problems and bottlenecks, make intentional mistakes, and all the rest. You know, on the other hand, obviously, if you're being asked to do something that's truly inhumane and clearly wrong, you don't want to be one of those "I was just following orders" type people. So stand up and do what's right. Okay, this is a test, and you need to blow the whistle at this point. At the same time, we also need to continue to do an excellent job to ensure that we don't mess up the really important stuff, as we need our government and critical systems to run really well, as well as possible, no matter what is happening. So in these cases, it's best to help create positive change in the other ways that are outlined within these videos and not to harm these critical systems. For example, if these systems allow us to get our food and water, it's best to work for positive change in other ways instead of stopping them from working, right? The same is true for our government. There is no acceptable reason for our leaders to shut it all down over some political issue. Okay, now let's put this together and talk about what we can all do to peacefully force positive change within our society or any organization. Okay, as people, we can all join together and march and protest, where we hold up signs, chant slogans, set up blockades, sit-ins, and publicly shame officials who are on the wrong side. Along with that, we can sign petitions, donate money and take polls. We can wear things like a designated color, a pin, a bracelet, a hat, a shirt, a scarf, an armband. We can stop buying the services and products from these bad organizations and start supporting the good ones. As workers, right, we can go on strike, we can walk out, we can stop work, we can slow work, we can sick out, we can testify, we can blow the whistle, we can even leak evidence of corruption and illegal acts. We can also give a list of worker complaints to the leadership of the movement so that they're included with the rest of the issues. Now, if you're a competitor, competitors of that organization under fire who are doing things correctly can help the protesters take down this bad player, right? If working to change a public company, all the shareholders can join the effort and vote to fix the company or just sell off all their stock and destroy it. The goal of using these tactics is to stop the company, organization, or its leaders from going about business as usual. We're looking to force these people within these organizations, as well as the public, to consider the cause that we're bringing to light. Here we are intentionally drawing attention and making things inconvenient. The strategy is useful when there is little to no media attention or support, but there would be if people just knew about your cause. If both customers and workers are fighting together, then the coordination between these groups will amplify the effect of what you're trying to do greatly. Okay, now that we covered the basics of the nonviolent tactics we can use, let's go through how we can use these abilities to apply more and more pressure to force positive change. As stated, the key is to flex our power for short periods, especially in the beginning, because in most cases, we don't want to destroy the organization outright. We want it to evolve in a positive direction more quickly. So as we go through this process, we need to be ready to lower the pressure and even turn it off once we've achieved our goal. In other words, we don't want to start something that we can't stop or do things that will not allow for fair and timely negotiations to take place. That's why we don't use force. Simply stated, the basic strategy is to apply more and more pressure by increasing the level of intensity and duration of the nonviolent tactics that I've already outlined. Intensity covers the level of power and passion that we apply. Now, power and passion come in the form of how many tactics we use simultaneously and how much emotion we show when we're doing this. Okay, for example, we can create a large, peaceful, yet highly charged and emotional public disturbance, as well as coordinate many other actions to happen at the same time in separate locations. Now, these additional actions can include things like stopping the use of the service or product. It can be a strike, a sit-in, a sick-out, a blockade, protest, media blitz, and more, right? The intensity can build and build and build. For example, we can blockade that company starting at that one street, then we can move to the area of town, even a city, a country, and beyond. We can protest at the headquarters, then move to some of the stores, then all the stores for a total shutdown of that business. The duration indicates how long we are doing or not doing things. Duration means using these nonviolent tactics for longer and longer periods. So this can also mean doing them more frequently. Now, for example, we can start by doing this, say, every week, then every 2 weeks, then every day. The length can go from, spending a few hours to days to weeks to months to years to an even forever, to where we just stop using them altogether. Like, for example, we can stop buying gas from a company for a few hours, for a day, for a week, for a few months, and then just switch over permanently to a new company if they don't change. Okay, let's go through why this works. When there are enough of us and we combine this with the right level of intensity, over longer and longer periods, this will create more and more problems for that organization and its leadership. Most organizations, especially businesses, cannot stay in operation without good customers, good workers, and or favorable publicity. When the cause has control of the money and public opinion to a large enough degree, the organization will have no choice but to negotiate with us and evolve, or else they're going to go extinct, just like the rest of the dinosaurs who could not adapt. The bigger the organization, the faster that they're going to shrink or go out of business without customers and competent workers. As I said, this whole process becomes easier when we, as consumers and workers, cooperate to force positive change. If the organization chooses not to change and is destroyed, it shrinks, or even is taken over, we've won, right? We've made room for a better run organization to rise up and fill this need. Attrition is a critical facet of capitalism, a fair and free market system, and any healthy economic system. Using all the tactics described within these videos is how we force organizations to improve when they will not do so on their own. We, as consumers, as citizens and workers, must demand that all our organizations strive to be their best on all levels. Uniting and the use of these best practices is how we can become the catalyst that will spur humanity into action and end unconstructive opposition. All real capitalists believe in good unions and consumer advocacy groups and work hard to fix, find, and mitigate all issues. True businesses work in this manner because it's through these issues that they can find problems that will make their company, their products, their services even better. As leaders, we need to work proactively so that things never get so far out of hand that people feel like they need to rebel and protest. We want happy customers, citizens, and workers, after all. In the end, it should be clear that it's in everyone's best interest and the best practice to understand all the issues and work to fix and mitigate them. Therefore, as leaders, to truly serve your organization and your greater purpose, you must listen and work with everyone. As consumers, citizens, and workers, we must band together to ensure all organizations provide for what we need on all levels. There is more on how to do a complete system overhaul within the way, but for the sake of this video, we're going to move on and skip that for now. Okay, that's phase 2 action. Now let's get into the last phase, phase 3, which is codify. Okay, now at the end of a successful campaign where there is agreement, we must always take this final step and get everything in writing and make sure that it's legal. Now there can be a lot to this, okay? Don't underestimate this. This includes writing contracts, creating processes and procedures, creating new training programs, maybe even changing laws or creating new laws. It might mean having to develop and allow for the creation of new organizations or even new departments within organizations. Now again, do not take this lightly. If everything else you've done is agreed to, but it's not in writing, it's not formalized, signed, sealed, and legal, all the work that you've done is meaningless. Okay? I cannot give you legal advice other than to say, consult with attorneys on these matters. I will go on to just say this much. Okay? It's a good practice when you feel like your contracts are complete to have a second opinion on them, to get a competing law firm to take a look at them, because attorneys are paid to find loopholes and alternative ways to achieving a goal. So fresh eyes from a competitor who is not part of that group think can often see things that others have not. The key is to be safe, precise, and be ready to trust but verify. Also, make sure that if they do break the agreement, that there are enough teeth in this contract that are large enough that will allow you to set things right again. And again, do not dismiss this. You need to make it binding and legal, because if you do not master this, everything else you have done will be for nothing. Okay, let's talk about what was just covered. To peacefully force positive change, we must embrace a non-violent approach as we clarify, take action, and codify. I presented these as steps, but the order as life can be a bit messier, as marches can precede the clarification, especially during great injustice. However, regardless of what order everything is done, do not neglect any of these steps, especially the last one, for it can mean certain failure. Also, do not be afraid to let your movement evolve and join with others, or even broaden in scope. For example, a local civil rights movement might coordinate with all groups fighting for civil rights nationally and even internationally, and then go from seeking to help one minority to help all people who are suffering under prejudice and discrimination. Okay, I'm going to jump out of the presentation now. This was video 3 of 3 in the series of how to peacefully force positive change in our world. If you have not done so, please watch the other videos so you know exactly how to make this all work. If you have seen them, please check out my other videos. You might like the one on how to fix our justice system, how to end homelessness, and more. What you have just heard is but a small part of the way. To learn more, please visit our website, 7wayme. That's the number 7, WAY.me, or peaceace.com. There you can learn more about the Way and the One Movement, which is working to peacefully force positive change in all aspects of our society. You can watch great videos that will help you go further in life and make a positive difference in the world. You can find trainings, events, coaching programs, cool products, helpful resources, and free stuff. You can join our music, video, comedy, and other projects and learn more about societal solutions and how we might even work together to support each other, and so much more. So please help spread the word and join us on all our social media, and give us a thumbs up, a like, subscribe and follow, comment, and be sure to click to be notified of new releases. There's a lot more to come. Our time is short and the need is great. Please unite with us before it's too late. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you, wishing you peace, happiness, and true success always.